Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about hirsutism. So first, the broad topic is we have hyperandrogenism. In the hyperandrogenism, hyper is increased, androgenism is increased levels of androgens. These androgens will cause increased hair growth in females. Okay, so this hyperandrogenism can be divided into three major types. We have three different terminologies which are due to hyperandrogenism. One, we have hirsutism, virilization, and hypertrichosis. Then, what is hirsutism? Hirsutism is due to androgens if there is increased hair growth. If there is increased growth of androgen dependent sexual hair, then we call it as hirsutism. So in hirsutism, mainly there is male distribution of hair in females. That is, there will be increased hair growth on the upper lip, chin, on the chest. Okay, so mainly you will have increased hair growth. Male pattern of hair growth is seen in hirsutism. Then what is virilization? In virilization, you will have hair growth definitely. Along with this hair growth, we also have presence of acne. You see oily skin sometimes, and there will be temporal balding. Clitoromegaly is seen. And slowly the female also develops deepening of voice, especially male voice develops in the females, and there will be atrophy of breasts also. So this occurs when there is increased androgen levels, more than that required for hirsutism. Then we have something called as hypertrichosis. Hypertrichosis is increased growth of non-sexual hairs. This is the difference. See, in hirsutism, we have increased growth of terminal hair here. This is terminal or sexual hair. Whereas in hypertrichosis, there is increased growth of non-sexual hair. Fine. There are many causes of hyperandrogenism, but four important causes of hyperandrogenism are very important. That is polycystic ovarian syndrome, late onset congenital adrenal hyperplasia, and if there are any tumors of ovary or adrenal gland, Cushing syndrome is also important cause of hyperandrogenism. Right. So, in the hyperandrogenism, we have hirsutism, virilization, and hypertrichosis. The causes of hirsutism we will see. That is important. There are several causes of hirsutism. So, if you see, the causes of hirsutism can be divided into, ovaries. So if you see in the female reproductive system, okay, only ovaries can produce this androgens. So ovary related causes of hirsutism include polycystic ovarian disease. If there are any tumors of ovary, which are masculinizing tumors of ovary, or if there is a cyst called as theca lutein cyst, which is present in the ovary, or luteoma of pregnancy, all these will produce androgens, and because they produce androgens, they can lead to hirsutism. Right? Next, if you see the other causes, then we have one more cause, which is in the kidney. Above the kidney, we have adrenal gland. In the adrenal gland, we have glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex corticoids. So, whenever there is some adrenal tumor, so this will activate the production of sex hormones, sex corticoids, which are majorly androgens. And in congenital adrenal hyperplasia, there is increased sex corticoids which are seen. And in Cushing syndrome, along with glucocorticoids, there is some percent of increase in sex corticoids also. So all these will also result in increased androgens, and thus there is hirsutism. Then the other causes are, it can be due to hypothyroidism, decreased thyroid hormones, or it can be due to hyperprolactinemia, that is increased prolactin levels, or in acromegaly, that is increased growth hormones. All these can also increase androgens by several mechanisms. Then what is very important here is the medications. Many questions have been asked in this, so it's very important. So in the medications which will result in hirsutism, these include, we have anabolic steroids like danazol can cause hirsutism, that is danazol, and we have metoclopramide which can cause hirsutism, and methyl dopa, phenothiazines, reserpine, testosterone, and progestins. All these can result in hirsutism. Okay, these medications, many questions have been asked which of the following are related to hirsutism, and one of them will be given. So like that, many questions have been asked. So this list is very important. Hirsutism is mainly caused by anabolic steroids, danazol, metoclopramide, methyl dopa, phenothiazine, reserpine, testosterone, and progesterone. Right? Next, there are some medications which will also cause hypertrichosis, that is increase in non-sexual hairs. So the medications which causes hypertrichosis mainly include, we have cyclosporin, which is an anti-cancer drug, and we have diazoxide, which produces hypertrichosis, hydrocortisone, minoxidil, then penicillamine. Actually, because this minoxidil causes hypertrichosis, it is used for alopecia areata, androgenic alopecia. Minoxidil is mainly used in androgenic alopecia because it causes increased hair growth. And penicillamine, sometimes phenytoin, which is an anti-epileptic drug, can also cause hypertrichosis. Sorelins and streptomycin. So drugs causing hypertrichosis are cyclosporin, diazoxide, hydrocortisone, minoxidil, penicillamine. This is penicillamine, which is used for Wilson's disease, phenytoin, sorelins, and streptomycin. All these are the drugs which are used for hypertrichosis. Then, if a patient comes to you with hirsutism, how are you going to diagnose him or her? That is important. So if you see diagnosis, right. First, if there is hirsutism, if a patient comes to you with increased growth of sexual hairs, then you should confirm whether the patient is also suffering from virilization or not. First question. Okay, because virilization occurs if there is more androgens, increased androgens, excessive increase in androgens in the body. Whereas hirsutism can occur with even less amount of increase in androgens in the body compared to virilization. Right? So, if virilization is present, then that increase in androgens will occur most commonly due to tumors. Always think that if there is virilization, most of the cases, not 100%, but 70 to 80% of the cases, there can be some testosterone producing tumors. So, or there can be some other conditions like congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Okay, so it is a little severe condition when compared to hirsutism. So you will have to check dihydroxy epiandrosterone, and you should check 17-hydroxy progesterone levels and testosterone levels. And based on this, you will have to do imaging technique. Especially you will have to do imaging for ovaries. Okay, you will have to do imaging for ovaries and also adrenal gland, because increased androgens to such an extent to cause virilization can occur due to ovarian tumors or adrenal tumors. That is commonly, right? And then based on the results, you will have to explore it. Okay, then if there is no virilization, then what are we going to do is the picture here. So if there is no virilization and there is only hirsutism, in such case you will have to check the menstrual history. If you see that the menstrual history is irregular, if menstrual history is irregular, we have three main important causes. 1, 2, 3. 1, it is thyroid. So you will have to check TSH, T3 and T4 to rule out thyroid abnormalities. If you see that T3, TSH, T4 are abnormal, then you will have to treat accordingly. If it is hypothyroidism, you will have to treat with levothyroxine. If it is hyperthyroidism, then you will have to give anti-thyroid drugs. Then, if it is, that is 1. If it is normal, okay, then you will have to check for prolactin. Okay, this prolactin levels, if it is normal, then fine. If it is elevated, that means there is some prolactinoma in the pituitaries, right? So you will have to do imaging, that is MRI of pituitary should be done. And then you will have to quantify it as either microadenoma or macroadenoma, and you will have to treat accordingly. The main treatment of choice is you will have to do surgical exploration. Okay, that is prolactin. But if it is micro, then you can try medical therapy also if it is micro. If it is macro, then you should do surgical exploration. Very fine. Then this is thyroid and prolactin. Next, if both these are negative, normal, then you should check 17-hydroxyprogesterone and serum testosterone. Okay, now if you check serum testosterone and 17-hydroxyprogesterone, this will also continue with normal menses. See, if there is normal menstrual history, if the menstrual history is normal, even then you do the same test, 17-hydroxyprogesterone and serum testosterone. So first we will see what happens if about the results of serum testosterone. Now in serum testosterone, if serum testosterone is less than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then it is confirms an ovulation. Okay, then the cause of this hirsutism is due to an ovulation mainly. Whereas if the serum testosterone is more than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then always think, see, it is more than 200 nanogram per deciliter. So that means the testosterone levels in a female are more than normal. So you should check for any mass, any tumor, okay, or any mass. It can be some adnexial masses can also result in this increased testosterone, or anything related to mass, okay. So you will have to do imaging technique based on the history, and then you will have to treat accordingly. Right? Next, we will see 17-hydroxyprogesterone. If you have done 17-hydroxyprogesterone levels, if this 17-hydroxyprogesterone level comes out to be less than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then you can easily rule out congenital adrenal hyperplasia. That is one thing. If 17-hydroxyprogesterone level is less than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then you can rule out congenital adrenal hyperplasia. But if this 17-hydroxyprogesterone level is more than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then what should you do? We will see in the next page. If this 17-hydroxyprogesterone level is if it is less than 200 nanogram per ml per deciliter, you do not need to do anything because we have ruled out congenital adrenal hyperplasia. But if in any case, if this 17-hydroxyprogesterone level is more than 200 nanogram per deciliter, then we will suspect a congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Right, we have suspected it. Now, how are you going to treat it? How are you going to diagnose it? So, for confirming the diagnosis, we do adrenal corticotropic hormone stimulation test. With the help of this adrenal corticotropic hormone stimulation test, we can confirm the congenital adrenal hyperplasia. If this ACTH stimulation test is less than 1000 nanogram per deciliter, then he can be a carrier of 21-hydroxylase deficiency. He can be a carrier of 21-hydroxylase deficiency. If ACTH stimulation test is more than 1000 nanogram per deciliter, then it is late onset congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or it can be 21-hydroxylase deficiency. It will confirm the late onset congenital adrenal hyperplasia or 21-hydroxylase deficiency. But this is not gold standard. This is just for confirming through laboratories. But for gold standard test, you should do karyotyping. Right? So, this is about the outline of hirsutism. So, thank you guys for watching my lecture. Thank you.